Hello, this is Reverend Angelia with today's Bible reading. Just make sure I'm on my right thing here. Okay. Today's reading comes from Hebrews 8, the high priest of a new covenant. The point of what we are saying is this. We do have such a high priest who sat down at the right hand of the throne of the majesty in heaven and who serves in the sanctuary, the true tabernacle set up by the Lord, not by man. Turn my page here. Every high priest is appointed to offer both gifts and sacrifices, and so it was necessary for this one also to have something to offer. If he were on earth, he would not be a priest, for there are already men who offer the gifts prescribed by the law. They serve at a sanctuary that is a copy and shadow of what is in heaven. This is why Moses was warned when he was about to build the tabernacle. See to it that you make everything according to the pattern shown you on the mountain. Because that might be a little insulting to God if you didn't, because he has his throne room and where everything is a certain way, and he wanted that to be a copy of what was going on up in heaven. This is why Moses was warned, of course, see to it that you make everything according to the pattern shown. But the ministry Jesus has received is as superior to theirs as the covenant of which he is mediator is superior to the old one, because Jesus is our mediator. He died for our sin. He was sinless. He's our go-between between us and God, so we can cross that chasm of human to God. And it is founded on better promises, like the old one. Do these things, do all these things, and be good, and I might accept you. Well, now, with Jesus coming, when people got ready to hear the news, now the promise is, if you accept me and walk in my footsteps, I will come back and I will take you to be with me. So that's a better deal. For if there had been nothing wrong with that first covenant, no place would have been sought for another. And it wasn't that it was wrong. I disagree with Paul in these wordings. It wasn't that it was wrong. It was that the human race had not evolved enough in order to be accepting of that. The human race had to come up through, sacrificing and killing the lamb and the bullocks and, understanding what that meant, and becoming savvy enough, to realize that, God is here and he's doing this thing for us. So that's why the new covenant replaced the old covenant. It's not that it was a bad covenant, because God doesn't make mistakes and he didn't do nothing bad. It's that the human race had to mature enough to get to the point where they could understand Jesus Christ. But God found fault with the people and said, "The time is coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their forefathers when I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt, because they did not remain faithful to my covenant, and I turned away from them, declares the Lord." Again, see, they weren't very, they'd just been released from slavery in Egypt. And they were still complaining about their food, their water, their conditions. They weren't being very grateful. So they had to wander around 40 years in the desert until the generation that wasn't being very grateful was gone. This is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my laws in their minds and write them on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. No longer will a man teach his neighbor or a man his brother, saying, know the Lord, because they will all know me. And of course, that has not happened yet. That we saw some little bit of that, in Israel back in that day. But there are still people who don't know God and have no desire to do so. And I think that's kind of sad. From the least of them to the greatest. So, the greatest all pretty much do know God. It's the least that we need to get to. For I will forgive their wickedness and will remember their sins no more, if they accept the new covenant. By calling this covenant new, he has made the first one obsolete. Okay, I'm going to read that to you again. He has made the first one obsolete. Got that? So all you guys going back to the Old Testament and pull this stuff out to be stumbling blocks for you brothers and sisters. Let me read that again. He has made the first one obsolete. So it's the New Testament, the New Covenant you need to be concerned with. You can read the old one for a nice history lesson, how it got to be to the point of the New Covenant, but that's what it should be, because he has made the first one obsolete. And what is obsolete and aging will soon disappear. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.